Hi, and welcome. I'm your host, Tracy Cooley, and for the rest of this series of short videos called Bend, Veda, Blend, Charm in the Spine, and Wisdom in the Doshas. But for short, I will be calling this Bend, Veda, Blend. I hope you get the names. Bend for yoga, Veda for Ayurveda, and blend because they both blend together in our lives, even if we don't think they do. Today, we will be starting with some history of yoga. We will be taking a clear, kind walk through yoga's story, what the word actually means, where these practices come from, what survived, and what adapted through history, and how yoga has reached the West. This is educational, not medical advice. Your body leads, and if anything feels off, you will choose the smaller option or pause. Let's dive into the etymology of yoga. Let us begin with the name because the word shapes how we practice. The word yoga comes from Sanskrit root yuj, Y-U-J, which means to yoke or unite, and it also carries the sense of pairing or teaming things together so they move together. In practice, yoga links what you already have: your breath, your body, your attention, and your values. So they act as a kind, coordinated team rather than four separate departments fighting over a schedule. That is the feeling we aim for on the mat and in our daily lives. Now let us place yoga in a simple timeline so your brain can relax. Long before yoga studios, schedules, and playlists, yoga's earliest ideas appeared in the Indian subcontinent alongside the Vedas, ancient Sanskrit texts of knowledge, and later the Upanishads, physi- philosophical works that turned attention inward. In those sources, the focus moves from the outer ritual to the inner observation: how we breathe, how the mind wanders, and how the attention changes how we feel. Early yoga is not about performance or impressive shapes. It is about training attention and living with care. One of my favorite quotes is from, or Desikachar says this. He also presented the idea that asanas or poses is satyaya, remembering who you really are, making you understand something about yourself. Centuries later, a short, potent guidebook pulls many threads into a single map. This guidebook is called the Yoga Sutras, attributed by Patanjali. It describes 8 limbs: yamas, how we treat others; niyamas, how we care for ourselves; asanas, steady and comfortable posture; pranayama, skillful breathing; pratyahara, turning attention inward; dharana, focused attention; dhyana, meditation; and samadhi, connected presence. The famous line near the beginning says, yoga is the stilling of the changing states of the mind, and later, posture is steady and comfortable. Posture is steady and comfortable. These two lines explain why practices emphasize steadiness over strain and clarity over drama. Yama, the Golden Rule Book. These are your cosmic house rules for playing nice in the grand game of life. No shade here. Just simple guidelines for keeping us all from turning into chaos gremlins. Ahimsa, practice nonviolence. Don't hurt anything, not even your siblings' feelings. That's hard, I know. Satya, Be the unicorn of truthfulness. Astaya, respect what's not yours. Hands off the proverbial cookies. Brahmacharya, mindful energy. No wild energy leaks. Aparaga, don't hoard. Marie Kondo would be so proud. The niyamas, your inner life toolkit. Now we're talking personal upgrades. Niyamas are about self-love, discipline, and spiritual hygiene. Sauch, cleanliness of the mind, body, and vibe. Samtosa, contentment, rock that enough is enough life. Tapas, willpower with a splash of spiritual sweat. Satyaya, study yourself and maybe some wisdom texts while you're at it. Ishvara Pardana, surrender to something bigger, whether you call it universe, spirit, or Beyonce. Asana, strike a pose. Yoga postures aren't just for looking good on Instagram. Each asana is a ticket to body awareness, discipline, and the patience of a saint. Your body equals your temple, so give it some TLC. But remember, asanas are only a part of yoga's magnificent eightfold journey. There are so much more to the story. Pranayama, breathe like you mean it. Pranayama is breath control, or as I say, master your inhales and your exhales, and suddenly you've got energy to light up a room and maybe your third eye too. Breath is life. Treat it with reverence. Okay, up to here, the tune has been refining your character and prepping your instrument, aka you. Now let's get a little trippy. Pratyahara, distraction detox. Time to turn down the volume on the sensory circus. Pratyahara is sensory withdrawal, aka, sorry world, I'm out of the office. Peel away from the outside noise and look inside where growth and patterns hang out, sometimes with snacks. Dharana, focus mode activated. Got focus? Dharana means single pointed attention. Think mental laser beams instead of a disco ball. Whether you're zoning in on your breath, a candle flame, or that leftover matcha latte, practicing concentration sets you up for greatness. Dhyana, meditation station. When focus flows uninterrupted, you hit that meditation sweet spot. Dhyana, imagine being beautifully aware but not stuck on any one thought, like floating in an ocean of calm. Easier said than done. But hey, practice and patience are totally in the contract. Samadhi, bliss, baby. The grand finale, Samadhi, is that I'm one with everything, even the annoying neighbor stage. Ultimate unity, peace, and bliss. All ego and striving melt away. But you can't buy it. You can only experience it, usually after showing some serious devotion and maybe a little yoga induced humility. In a nutshell, these eight limbs aren't just for yogis in the Himalayan caves. They are for everyone looking to be kind, balanced, flexible, peaceful, and a little more fabulous. The journey is the prize. Each step along the way is its own kind of magic. Namaste to that. As time passes, the medieval Hatha Yoga texts lean more towards the body and the breath as, as reliable gateways. They teach postures, seals or bandhas, and breath patterns to prepare attention for the steadier states. The classical verse, often summarized as when the breath is unsteady, the mind is unsteady. When the breath is steady, the mind is steady. Captures the practical linking between body, breath, and mind. In other words, the body is not an obstacle to be conquered, it's your teammate on your way to be calmer, clearer in your life. We should name this chapter the hard chapter because, in context, it is, and it should be respected. During the British colonial rule in South Asia, many indigenous practices, including yogic teaching and related institutions, were restricted, stigmatized, and pushed to the margins in favor of European biomedicine and new schooling systems. Now, some knowledge was lost in the public spaces, but much survived because of families, monastic communities, and regional lineages protected it quietly and passed it along from person to person. After that era, during the 20th century, yoga and related knowledge were reorganized, taught more openly, and brought into new kinds of schools and public demonstrations. That adaptive thread is one reason you and I can practice together today. What yoga is not is just as important as what yoga is. Yoga is not a flexibility test, a pain tolerance challenge, or a moral badge. If something feels sharp or pinchy, that is not a rite of passage. It is a signal to scale down, add support, or stop. The guidance posture is steady and comfortable, applies to all bodies, all days, and all shapes. What yoga feels simpler and more humane. Yoga is a way to team up with your breath, your body, your attention, and your values so your day feels steadier and kinder. You do not need perfect shapes to do this. You need a practice that you will return to, which usually means smaller and repeatable. When in doubt, you can choose one smaller action you will actually keep and let consistency build the change. Here is why history matters, and here is the simple takeaway. When you know the roots, you practice with respect and align posture, breath, and attention with the ethics that make your gains stick. If you remember only one line today, remember this: yoga yokes what you already have: breath, body, attention, and values to how you want to live: steadier, clearer, and kinder. Now let us follow the gentle bridge into modern times. In the late 19th and early 20th century, Indian teachers presented yoga in public forums, wrote books, and taught students home and abroad. These students carried their learnings across the ocean. Over time, yoga reached Western countries first as ideas, lectures, and breath centered practices, and later as posture based classes that felt approachable for beginners. Move with breath, feel better today. Different teachers emphasized philosophical studies, careful alignment, and gentle therapeutics, energetic flow, and community ethics in action. But the deep threads stayed the same: attention and kindness practiced on purpose. And these are some of my amazing teachers that I trained with, and there are so many more: Shiva Ray, Anna Forrest, Beryl Bender Birch, Baron Baptiste, Debbie Williamson, Bikram Chowdhury, Sean Corn, Johnny Kest, Max Strom, Paul Grilly, Rod Stryker, Rodney Yee, Jimmy Barkin, Dr. David Frawley, Sharon Gannon and David Life, Stacy Dawkins. But there are so many more. Because this chapter is a history chapter, let us name a few landmarks plainly. Early ideas appeared in the Vedas and Upanishads, and I have the Vedic texts right here. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras condensed diverse strands into a compact map of the 8 limbs of yoga. Medieval Hatha Yoga turns the body and the breath into practical entrances to steadier attention. Under the colonial rule, indigenous systems faced pressure and displacement. Nevertheless, they persist through families and lineages. In the modern era, teachers shared yoga through books, lectures, demonstrations, and the students carried it home, and yoga continues to adapt across cultures. Through all of these shifts, the North Star stays the same: a steadier, kinder steadiness of body, breath, and mind. Let the story land in your body for 1 minute, because bodies remember better than brains. If you don't mind, you will sit or stand tall, soften your jaw, and let your shoulders relax a little bit. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. You will inhale and exhale through your nose unless you have a reason not to, like you're congested, and so then you can breathe any way that you can. Maybe have a box of tissues next to you just in case. Nothing will matter for 60 seconds, so turn your phone off so there's no distractions. You will inhale to the count of 4 and exhale slowly to the count of 6. That's 1 round. And we will do 3 rounds. You don't have to do anything besides listen to my voice. So inhale and exhale is 1 round. I'll do the counting. You don't have to do anything besides focus on your breathing. Inhale, let your belly get big. Exhale, let your belly get small. But I don't want you to force it. Just do it naturally and let it come easily. All right, and try to breathe in and out through your nose. Let your belly get big and let your belly get small. That calms down your parasympathetic nervous system. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Inhale through your nose gently for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a few brief moments to see how you feel and what comes up. What word comes up? Don't think about it. Let it be intuitive. What is your word of now? You can choose a word of now such as steady, clear, curious, okay, or here. That word helps your brain tag that this is applicable, so you are more likely to return to it tomorrow. As we close, carry 2 truths into your day. First, Yoga is ancient and also brand new with your next breath. Second, you are part of a long chain of care, and your practice honors those communities that carried this work through hard eras so it could reach you now. Thank you for your time and attention. I also wanted to share three other things with you. First is another one of my favorite quotes by Rumi. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. The second thing I wanted to share with you is after the reference page in this presentation and in all presentations I will be giving, I will be giving you a free 4x6 printout that you can laminate and carry with you. It includes my contact information in case you have any questions. It also includes my YouTube channel where you can watch all the videos again, and there'll be more even after this series is finished. The third thing I wanted to share with you is that this is the first video in a series of videos on yoga and Ayurveda in plain talk. Remember that this is educational, not medical advice. When in doubt, choose smaller options, relax your jaw a little and your shoulders, and keep learning. And this is the where the free printouts will be, that all you have to do is print them out. Thank you for your time and attention.